in telling this because this is one of the richest crowds I ever used to address in my all-along seminars or classes or lectures. The reason is, you could see the great guru who was here, maybe 80 plus, I don't know, the oldest principal who is here, from the youngest student. This is the kind of crowd what I have in front of me. So it comprises the age, experience, knowledge and everything. So let me ask your apology if I am not able to satisfy you or something else, and all my gurus sitting in front of me will certainly take the freedom to correct me if I am wrong.
Hand to him, and I am sorry.
Another difficult task to come to Kolkata is, this is my third or fourth lecture series here in the same meeting. So, this time I can see the full auditorium. People have a different expectation, which I know, so I have to fulfill it. My responsibility is going high and high. And it is not so easy for a speaker to fulfill every time, but I try my level best to fulfill that. Today I really felt I am a bit unlucky that I could not study at RIPTAA, because I have never seen anywhere, not just in India, anywhere in the world, an association which is so strong mentally and heartily as what I witnessed today here. So you can be really proud of it. Second thing, this year I could see a lot of students, I mean maybe the budding youngsters just after their studies. Maybe 30% of the crowd is from the youngsters. So I wish to start from myself to share something, just to tell them how we all have grown up in our life. I was born in a very maybe middle class, I can tell. Not even the low middle class, not in the upper middle class, in the middle class. In Kerala, the extreme southern part of India. And my grandfathers were priests in some temples nearby. So most of my food has to come from the temple, and that I used to eat. Almost 17 years I survived with that naivedyam, what I used to get. Even today, my mother lives there alone. She gets around 5,500 rupees per month as an honorarium and some naivedyam for the 365 days. So I owe my life little bit to that, it's true. And I was the third son in my family. My father decided to take up a government job. He was a sub-registrar in the registration department, and mother is a housewife, homemaker, today's language. And both brothers were elder to me, much more meticulous, more organized, and they used to study and perform much better than me, I can say. And both of them decided to take up computer science in their life. The computer science was just coming up those days. You know that the master degree program started first, and then the bachelor started. So my father was always happy with this too. I don't know whether I shared this with you before, but for the youngsters who are sitting here, I am telling this once again. And whenever we go for a function or any activity happens in the house, my father was very proud to introduce his two sons, the eldest ones, first and second. And the third one was some printing, some chapa khana, I don't know. He was not knowing what printing is. I am not blaming him, because this was the concept of an average man in India, and even today that is not much changed. And one occasion I still remember, he took me to one of our distant relatives. He happened to be a Ayurvedic doctor, and he introduced his children, and the third one, he is doing some printing, something before. And this guy, this doctor, so-called doctor, he asked him back, he is not alive today, but still, he asked him back, why you send him for printing? As if I have done a crime by opting printing. Anyway, that day I decided maybe a day will come where I can tell these guys what printing is and what is the power of printing, which I experienced in my life maybe last 24 years. Many of you, I am not as senior as you, but maybe the 40% of the crowd, I am senior to you. Then I tried to understand printing in a different way, not like how others were looking at it. I decided I want to take print as a passion, no doubt. It's not just a job or not just for learning something or not to take any glory out of it. And the first day when I entered my diploma institute, I started with a diploma. After my graduation in commerce, I went into a printing diploma. That's the way it started. I saw the flywheels rotating. It really fascinated me on the letterpress. Same way, I saw the PD5 old Russian machines. It looks like a steam engine. I'm sure most of our old generation must have seen that. It makes anyone fascinated if you see that print. So I decided if a machine like this, if I can learn, I should do that. That's the way I joined for my diploma in printing. And that's the way it started. Today, my dear friends, today the very same field gave me an opportunity to travel more than 40 countries in my life. And all the countries I traveled are not money spent by me, somebody else has spent. If I were opted any other field other than printing, I don't think I would have got an opportunity like this. My brothers, still I know they are where they are now, what they are doing. They are computer science, it is true, they have settled well, but they never got an opportunity like what I got in my life. So printing is something which can give you everything. My aim was not into business side. I was not an entrepreneur. My interest was more into the academic side, research side and teaching side. So I put all my effort in that side, which gave me back everything I want. So the day you start loving the field, loving anything, you will get it back. Just like what Steve Jobs said in 2005. Love what you do, the field will give you back. It's very clear. And a week back, which I could not believe it, like what Mr. Doteji is announced now. We just, last 3 years I used to get an information that you can apply for this. It's the Printing Industry America Graphic Arts Technical Foundation Academic Excellence Award, Global Academic Excellence Award. And I tried to apply for that. And a third party has to nominate it. I made all my preparation, which took almost 6 months, a 135-page document. Because it is not just based on one point, you have to prove yourself what you did, how many publications, how many research students, what you did for the society, what you did for the printers. So BMPA, Bombay Master Printers Association, I requested them, so they agreed to nominate the name, and that's the way it is nominated. And when the result came, it was really surprise to me because I got it from the industry side. And there is no second prize in that, imagine, there is only first prize globally. So I had to compete the whole countries in the world to get it. And this is going out of US first time in the history in the last 3 decades. So it's really a pride moment, a proud moment for the whole Indian community. Not me as an individual, I am telling. Look at XYZ, let it be anyone. I represent the print industry of India, and it is a real proud moment for the recognition of Indian print education internationally. This is why I want to mention this to you, is to the youngsters who are sitting behind me, is you really try to love printing. This printing will give you back everything, no doubt about it. So in my presentation, I am trying to look it in a little different way. Last year I was talking on little bit related to color and the human limitations. It was highly focused to some area. But this time, this concept was in my mind for last 8-7 months. Once an association asked me to speak on some topic. So I was not sure what should I speak, because If I try to talk some technology or something about a machine or something about a technology, everything you know, because every day some salesman or some technical expert will come to your shop floor, he will explain you, or the same thing is available in the internet. So there is nothing new to talk about it. Then I was asking myself, why the printing industry is like that? We ourselves don't have a confidence on our industry. What could be the reason? Then asking myself, I decided, okay, let me look around how others are changing. All other industries related to printing or adjacent to printing, how they have changed themselves. This understanding may help me to redefine myself. After observing this, it took more than 1 month time to complete the whole content of this presentation. Then I realized how they changed and coined a word called repurposing. Maybe somewhere somebody must have used it, but this is I coined for my sake. It's called repurposing. Why? Because you look at a lathe machine, simple lathe machine which is in front of your office. It produces a product which is known to you, but it can demand the price it wants. But look at a printing machine. You can compare a printing machine just like a satellite launching system or any other complicated machineries ever developed by mankind till today. Because 1/100th of a second difference will spoil the complete registration or accuracy of the print. But the product comes out of it. We are fighting for paise. Just imagine. We are investing millions of rupees. Still we fight for single paise. Who is responsible for that? Any other equipment with such a precision, what it produces will have a value or a worth. So we are responsible for that. Why? You look at a simple gramophone which started years back. Today it has taken to a very different shape. But printing, we were looking in the same fashion what we were doing for last 470 years, or maybe the first printing developed by Baisheng in 8th century in China. From there, if you take maybe last 12 centuries, we used printing only to add ink on paper. The definition for printing was adding ink on paper. So I was getting a feeling like we restricted ourselves by restricting printing as a process to add ink on paper. That may not be sufficient. So let us look how others changed, and then the same way how we can change. Just like what Obama said, like, do you want to change? Yes, we can. So that's the only option in front of us. So how we can change, what are the options in front of us, then you will realize the scope of printing in the coming days. So let us start I try to touch upon these points today. I'm sure you can read all these things. I try to touch upon some of the repurposed materials. Certain materials have some usages. That's what we believe. But all those materials have repurposed to use something else. Then something on embedded graphic materials, something on interfacial materials, and something on dual light materials, and something on haptic materials. Haptic is nothing but touch and feel, and something on repurposed technologies. I will not take much time, but when we go through this, we will come to know what else we can do. Let us try to understand on repurposed material. You can see, because no explanation in my slides, all are pictures, so you can easily understand what it is. You can see a house in the picture. The complete house is constructed by an architect called Dan Phillips in Texas, including the fan which you can see on the top, all used materials he used to construct it, all repurposed materials. And it's a very strong house, and it became a trend today. People are approaching him to construct similar kind of houses. For us, any paper or any board is for printing or carton making. But look at this. A company called Push GmbH. This is a company in Germany. They are